Welcome to my channel, you guys. It's Chrissy G, and today I am with Dr. Juan Zubieta, also known as Dr. Z here in Houston. And so we're going to do a quick Q&A with him regarding the Mounjaro medication that is out and about now. All of a sudden, it's got a lot of buzz. It's a new medication that's out in the market. It is right now for diabetics, but Dr. Z will go into that a little bit.
Hello, YouTubers. My name is Juan Zubieta. I'm an internal medicine physician and I am a diabetologist. And I am working at North Houston Diabetes Institute that is in Humble, Texas. And welcome.
Thank you. So I do have a few questions for you. Some of my viewers were asking me. One that I want to know is, why is there so much buzz about Mounjaro suddenly?
Well, Mounjaro is a new drug. In general, when we're talking about different diseases, each one of the diseases has its own group of medications, and those medications are classes of medications. For example, cholesterol will have a class of drugs that is called statin. And the statin have many drugs in that class. For example, rosuvastatin, atorvastatin, simvastatin. Everything that ends in statin will belong to the same class. For diabetes, we have multiple classes of drugs that we can use. We have the insulins that everybody knows about, the insulins, but also we have the pills. So we have sulfonylureas that are older medications. And more recently, we have a group of drugs that are called GLP-1 agonists that actually are very good. Now, the next generation is this new medication that is unique. It has its own class. It has no cousins, no relatives. It's unique in the market. That is called Mounjaro.
Mounjaro. So we started with like Ozempic, right? Ozempic was designed for diabetes only. Diabetic patients only, and then that's where wegovy came in.
No. This started way before Ozempic.
Okay.
The GLP-1 market has been around for decades, but there was a leap in the quality of the drug when we find out that these new medications are very easy to use because they're used only once a week. So compliance is not a problem. There is a big difference between having to take a medication every single day, no matter what, and you start missing it, you forgot about it, you went on a trip and you forgot your medication, etc., versus having to take a medication only once a week.
Right.
The second thing that we found when we went to the newer GLP-1 drugs is that they actually have a significant effect on weight loss. And when they actually have this significant effect on weight loss, is this marriage that is between diabetes and obesity. Now we are actually attacking part of the problem by helping the patient to lose weight. People are not gaining weight because they don't want to lose it. People don't lose weight because they can't. And these medications now are giving the patient the opportunity to reduce the size of the plate, to reduce the amount of calories they are taking, and by not being hungry, then they can actually afford to start losing some pounds. I think that I always tell my patients, hunger is the enemy. The enemy is not the potato, the enemy is not the pasta, the enemy is not the pizza. The enemy is hunger. In this situation where the diabetic patient, because of his or her condition, is always hungry, always needs to eat something, always needs to drink something, that is the problem that we're addressing with these new medications. So now we have the best of all worlds. We have a medication that is easy to give. We have a medication that is easy to take because it's only once a week. And we have a medication that is attacking the real enemy, which is hunger.
Which is true, you guys. How many times do you eat when you're not hungry? But if you're always hungry, that's all you can think about, for me. right? When I'm hungry, that's all I can think about is what's my next meal gonna be. Which this has helped me tremendously, because if I don't have that hunger pain, once I got past the habit of eating, then I'm not thinking about it all the time. So, would you recommend this for patients who are considering gastric bypass, considering that they also have diabetes or another illness that would qualify them for Mounjaro? Is this something you would recommend to them before going into surgery?
Is that surgery, gastric bypass, is not indicated for the management of diabetes. The weight loss strategies is a completely different phenomenon that needs to be addressed in a different way. So weight loss surgery has its own indications. Mounjaro has not been approved for weight loss, even when we know that it has excellent results. Mounjaro is a diabetes medication.
Because it's so new on the market, everyone thinks that Mounjaro is the new weight loss. It's not. You have to have diabetes or be borderline diabetic, correct? You've
Yes.
got to be already pre-diabetic is what they call it, right? Okay, to be able to get onto this medication. So like myself, I am trying to avoid being full-blown diabetic. I'm trying to manage my eating habits now early on so that I do not have to be full-blown diabetic in the future, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
and it looks like this medication might actually prolong the half-life of the cells in the pancreas that produce insulin. So diabetes is a chronic progressive disease where pretty much everybody eventually will need to have some form of insulin. And what we're seeing with these medications, the new ones, is that they protect the pancreas and then allow the pancreas to live longer. It will keep the patient away from insulin.
Interesting. So is diabetes reversible? Like if you had a diabetic patient who started on Mounjaro, are they able to get off the meds at some point, or is this going to be a lifelong journey?
When we're talking about diabetes management, we are talking about a disease that has no cure.
Okay.
So once you are diabetic, you are diabetic.
Okay.
You might reach a point where you are a diabetic well controlled, and if you are well controlled, then things might actually get better. If you are a morbidly obese person, and one of these medications facilitates that you lose 35% of your weight, it is possible that you are no longer going to be a hypertense patient who needs to be on blood pressure medication, and it's likely that you're going to be a diabetic patient who doesn't need to be on diabetes medication. But if you gain the weight back, then your blood pressure is going to go up again, and your sugars are going to go up again because your insulin resistance is going to go back on. So the way that we actually manage this in the clinic is that we want to change your habits.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want you to actually take this medication and says, well, this is the holy grail, and from now on, as long as I use this medication, my diabetes is going to be well controlled. No. What we want is that this medication is going to be the instrument that is going to actually allow you to learn how to have a reasonable meal. It doesn't matter how much you eat or how little you think you eat. If you are not losing weight, you are eating twice as much as what you are supposed to. But your brain will always try to convince you that your meal is the normal size, is the right amount, is okay, because your brain loves sugar. So the more sugar that you actually put close to the brain, the happier that your brain is. Mm-hmm. So your brain is going to convince you that your meal is okay. We in the clinic, we work with your habits. So you change the way that you approach your meals. This is not about eating until the plate is empty, eating until you feel so full that you cannot move anymore. That needs to go away. So I believe that if we actually put you on this type of medication and you lose the weight and we continue the program long enough until those habits become a new lifestyle, you will be able to stay off the medication and not necessarily gain the weight back.
So it's just about learning to self-control, portion size, and all that good stuff.
Yes.
Major problem with insulin resistance here in America, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people are insulin resistant. Perfect. Okay, so can you explain, because a lot of people are confused why I'm on 2.5 for another month if Mounjaro website explains that this is just the introductory dose. You're supposed to be on this for 4 weeks and then you level up to 5.0. That's what it says. But I explained to my viewers that you said, as long as my body is still losing weight, as long as I'm still doing okay as far as side effects, you can keep me on the 2.5 as needed, correct? I don't have to switch right away.
Well, I mean, I think that the best way to answer that is we're talking about the science of medicine versus the art of practicing medicine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure that if you run these through an algorithm in a computer, then the computer is going to increase the dose every so often because this is what we told them, or this is what it was recommended by the lab.
Mm-hmm.
But when you actually come to your doctor's office, what you're doing is you are individualizing your own care, and not necessarily because the website says that it needs to increase every 4 weeks, that means that we're going to do it every 4 weeks. Those are wide general recommendations. As physicians, we have the freedom to adapt the treatment plan to our own needs. I do not believe that a massive weight loss over a very short period of time is a great thing. I think that a gradual, continuous weight loss is way more effective and probably is going to make the patient feel better. So when the patient starts losing weight too fast, I tend to slow down the weight loss, and I tend to send to the patient the message that what we want is something that is sustained over time. And instead of having a massive starvation, we're losing the weight and then we're going to gain it back by the next Memorial Day. That's not what I want. So in many cases, we will actually delay the change of the doses. And in some cases, I probably will keep the patient on the same dose. It will be a shame that the patient is tolerating at a slow dose very well, and then when I increase the dose, what happened is that now the patient is having nausea, is not tolerating well, is having diarrhea, I don't feel good. What was the point?
Yeah.
So every time that we decide that we're going to increase the dose of the medication, we need to actually have a really good reason for that. And in your case, since you're going public on your treatment, I guess that is not a confidential issue. So in your case, I think that as long as you are losing weight the way that we are seeing it, I think that we're going to stay a little bit longer on this dose. Okay. Every visit that you come here in Humboldt, then we will reevaluate if there is a benefit, and we will weigh the pros and the cons of changing the dose, of changing the medication.
Correct. So there you have it, you guys. That is one of the main reasons why I love seeing Dr. Z, because he didn't treat me like another patient, another number. He actually did my blood work here. He checked my AC1 first day I came to visit him. He took his time with me the first visit, got to know my eating habits, asked me all the right questions, and then decided what my treatment plan was. I didn't come in and just get a prescription for phentermine and here, go have, good luck and see you in a month and see how you did. No, he actually took his time. Like, a lot of people are complaining about having nausea and diarrhea, and for me, it's okay. I tolerated the 2.5 really well, and instead of him just saying, well, you did fine with that, you lost your 6 pounds, here's a higher dose. No, he said, no, you're doing fine. slow wins the race, right? It's not like he didn't want me just to skip right through and lose 30 pounds in 1 month like I used to do when I was in my 20s.
I'm old now. Now I can only lose 5 or 6 pounds a month.
So that is one of the major reasons why I absolutely was glad that I found him. I did my research. What do you specialize in?
Well, I am trained in internal medicine and I'm a diabetologist, which is basically all we do is diabetes.
Okay.
All we do over here in the clinic is weight management and diabetes.
Okay. So that is another reason why I came to Dr. Z. I was looking up for a diabetes specialist because Google told me I was a diabetic, and I was sure I was a diabetic, so that's why I came to see Dr. Z. My husband had recently been diagnosed with diabetes, and so I had been checking my own blood sugars occasionally, and they started rising a little more than I wanted them to. And so that's how I ended up with Dr. Z, because I did Google, diabetes specialists in the area, and that's how I'm very blessed that I came across your office, and I appreciate all the help that you've done for me so far in my journey. And I look forward to, we've lost how much, Dr. Z? 28 pounds since I started coming to Dr. Z in March. It was late March, I think, when I started seeing you.
Correct.
And then that was on my fault, because June I had like 7 birthdays and I ate a lot of cake that month and I didn't lose any weight. So that was not Dr. Z's fault, that was me. I lost 6 pounds, 2 more today, so 8 so far. So we're
Good. Congratulations. Okay.
Thank you.
We want to continue every month.
Every
Okay? A little bit at a time. Every month we're going to lose a little bit of weight, and we're going to keep an eye on the things that are important. Your nutritional status. We want to make sure that your blood pressure is okay. We want to make sure that your overall health is preserved, despite the fact that you continue losing weight continuously. And we look forward for you to actually have what the WHO call a normal weight.
Yeah, I'm considered morbidly obese, right? In the medical
Yes,
books.
ma'am.
People say I'm not. They're like, you're not obese, and I'm like, well, that's because we're so used to seeing so many thick people nowadays. But in the medical books, I am considered morbidly obese. I mean, it's not something that I'm happy about, but it is what it is.
But it's something that we're going to correct,
We
and
are.
it's going to go away very soon.
We are, and I feel so much better, you guys. The energy level that I have now, just having lost those almost 30 pounds, has made such a difference. I'm not as tired. I actually have the energy to do exercise, which Dr. Z, how much exercise did you recommend I do weekly?
Well, right now, I think that you need to do about 150 minutes of physical exercise every week, minimum. That should be your first threshold on exercise.
Okay.
And we're not talking about weightlifting. We're talking about more in the cardio side. I want something that increases your heart rate, walking, hiking, biking.
I don't know about hiking, you guys, but I could do some walking. I could do some walking.
Right.
Dr. Z, I'm doing 3 miles a day, you guys, so I am doing the hiking. All right, so Dr. Z wants to show how you would inject the Mounjaro pen.
Yes.
Okay.
So, one of the things that I like about this is how easy it is to actually give yourself a dose. First, the pen is a single-use device. I removed the gray top. Once I remove the gray top, the needle is in here. You're not going to be exposed to the needle. There is very little probability of an accidental needle stick or anything like that. Then there is a small lock and unlock position, so you need to unlock the device. Once you unlock the device, you can inject it in your abdomen, you can inject it in your thigh, you can inject it in your arm if you want to. I recommend to do it in the abdomen. I prefer the patient to do it in the abdomen. Once you put it in the abdomen, you push the button and you're going to hear 2 sounds. You need to pay attention to the sounds. 1, 2. Once you hear the second sound, I ask the patient to count 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're done for the week.
That's it.
It's as simple as that.
Simple as that. It is very simple. So is it okay if you bleed when you inject? Because I've had it happen where I bleed sometimes and then sometimes I don't. Is there any difference?
No, there's no difference. It's just that you just got a little vessel.
Okay.
But it doesn't hurt.
No, it doesn't hurt.
Okay.
No, it doesn't hurt. So there you go, you guys. That is how you stick the Mounjaro pen. And there you had it, heard it from him. It doesn't matter if you bleed or not. It's still the same. You just may have hit a little blood vessel. I really thank the staff here at Dr. Z's office and Dr. Z for taking the time to answer a few of our questions today. He's been more than generous with his time. I've taken up enough of his time, so I appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, please let me know, because I will be seeing Dr. Z once a month, you guys. So I can definitely talk to him. I appreciate all the hard work they're doing for everyone and everything they do for us. So thank you very much, Dr. Z.
You're very welcome.
I wanted to quickly mention Dr. Z is located at the North Houston Diabetes Institute, and their phone number here is 832-644-9595. So if you have any questions and you need some information, the staff here at North Houston Diabetes is more than willing to help and answer all your questions. I will post the information in the description below so you guys can see where the address, where it's located. Dr. Z?
Yeah, thank you so much for watching.